Well, the club started as a press agents association in 1904, and they got together really to avoid duplication of free tickets. And 2 or 3 years later, they invited performers to join the club. And I think the major event in the early part of the club's history took place in 1907. And thereafter, they did the Friars Frolics, and they even had a troupe of performers going around the country. And that's really how the club built its first clubhouse, which was huge. It had sleeping rooms. It had a hall for 500 people, and Then, unfortunately, with the advent of the talkies, a lot of the performers moved west. Then came the Depression, and the club suffered really between the mid-30s and the mid-40s. It almost disappeared. They had no clubhouse, and they met in various places, various hotels. And Milton Berle is the one really who can be credited for reviving the whole organization when he was Mr. TV in the late 40s, and the membership went back from, I don't know, 150 people to 300 or 400 people. And by the late 50s, they were doing well, and they moved on 55th Street, where the club is currently located. And thank God it's been successful ever since.
And what's your role here, and how long have you been here?
I am the executive director of the club, and I have been here for 28 years. I was the assistant for 12 years, and I have been the director for the last 18 years.
All right. And what is one of the great things that I'm sure you're going to love talking about is you guys have been very successful recently in attracting young members in the club. When you see the club now, it's a nice mixture between the legends and the younger up-and-coming performers. How has that transformation started to take place?
Well, up until about 5 years ago, we had maybe 30 or 40 young friars, mostly sons and daughters of members, And we realized that to survive, we need to attract younger members. And it's a difficult task. It's a challenge because the younger generation, in my opinion, does not seem to be club inclined. So we've taken several steps to correct the situation. We've lowered the dues and the initiation fees for members under the age of 40. We've changed our menus with a lighter fare. The kids eat salads, and some of the old members are still ordering pastrami sandwiches. And we've upgraded our health club equipment. We've created a website to communicate with our members. We've made it possible for young performers to come in. We give them a trial membership for 6 months at no cost. If they like it, they can remain. And mostly we've also renovated the clubhouse over the last 5 years, and we have a master plan for the next 5 years. A lighter decor. We've somewhat relaxed the mode of dress in certain areas of the club. Young people have a tendency, I think at least, to dress down as a sign of affluence. And the most important thing is that we have created events geared to young people. We've lowered the prices on the events, and we're fortunate because we now have a lot of young comedians, performers, and they're very generous. They donate of their time and talent, and that makes it possible for us. So it's working. And 20% of the membership is now under the age of 40. And I have no doubt it's a melange of stand-up comedians, comedy writers, actors, performers, young entertainment executives. And I have no doubt that they will carry the legacy into the next millennium. You know.
Describe how the club breaks down in terms of who can become a member and what percentage are in show business.
Well, there are two categories of membership. One is professional for people in the entertainment field, and non-professional, of course. Some of the lawyers and doctors and don't really like the term non-professional, but that's what it is here. But once they've joined, everybody's in the same. The only reason that we have two classes of membership is because the constitution of the club provides that it has to remain 2/3 professional and 1/3 non-professional to maintain the image of the club.
And one of the things the young comedians I've talked to and interviewed who have become members of the club, part of the attraction for them is that this is known as a place where the legends of comedy and the legends of entertainment hang out, and it gives you access to them that you wouldn't otherwise have. Do you see a lot of that happening? Or?
We do, and it's wonderful. There's a great interaction between the two generations, and the younger guys have a great respect for performers who made it possible for them to be in this business. You know.
And describe for me what your function is in helping, like in the old days, Dave Tebbutt and now Ken Greengrass put together an event for the club. And first of all, describe the two different kinds of events the club has, the testimonial. And
Over the years, the club has had testimonial dinners, which were black tie dinners for men and women, and the celebrity luncheons known as roast. You know, up until about 10 years ago, roast were for men only, but fortunately, women are now members of the club, and the dining room looks much better. And they're very active. They represent over 10% of the membership. And the annual dinners, basically, it's a variety show, and the club honors people who have attained a good level in the entertainment field. The roast is a whole different format, and it's comedians taking their best barbs at some of the greats of show business. And I admire the guest of honor, the honorees, for accepting to such verbal abuse. And but it's a great tradition, and it's wonderful. I mean, the format of the roast has been emulated on the luncheon and dinner circuits forever, but the Friars still retains.
And what goes into putting one together? I mean, your office almost completely gets engulfed with putting, when one of these events is coming around.
It takes almost a year to prepare, but the great challenge is that most of the high-profile performers live in California, and we usually have 15 to 20 performers who will be speaking, and it's a great challenge to coordinate given their schedules. They have such a busy schedule, and but we're lucky. American Airlines is the official airline of the Friars, and thanks to their generosity, we're able to move 30 to 50 people between both coasts and do it.
What do you want to say anything about the relationship between the two clubs, or what the difference is between the two clubs?
There is a Friars Club of California. They operate under a license from the New York Club, and we have reciprocity. Both clubs have reciprocity, and I hope it will go on forever.
Do you have any memorable stories from your experiences, like the Cary Grant, working with the various different legends of show business that you've come into contact with, Sinatra?
For me, meeting Cary Grant when I was in my teen was the idol of everybody, and I was so amazed when I met him. He was nervous about being honored, which was incredible. Given everything he has done, and he was so nervous about preparing for his acceptance speech that we sent him an assistant for a week. It took him a week of rehearsal, and in the end, he sat down in the middle of the stage in an armchair, and he went on for 30 minutes telling his life, and it was fabulous.
And what have you become? how do you interact with the celebrities that come here on a daily basis or come here frequently? And most of the ones that I've interviewed have mentioned you in the interviews, like Buddy Hackett and Pat Cooper, and said, you know, how much they like you and how much you're responsible for the club's success and all of that. What's your affection for them?
Most people think that it's a tough job dealing with celebrities, that they have tremendous egos. The fact is that they're very easy, they're very pleasant, they're very generous, and I love it. I think it's very exciting to be near creative people. You're energized, and it's great. It's totally different from the average private club in the United States. People in the entertainment field they're always up.